Guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to do a monthly favourite video, and today's topic is horror movies before the 1990s. I'm going to list 5 movies, and these 5 movies are my utmost favourite movies that I love watching. Unfortunately some of them I haven't seen in a couple of months because it's very hard to actually get to see them. If the movies I'm going to list you have seen, good. If you haven't, I would recommend you watch. So the first movie I'm going to mention is Night of the Demon. Night of the Demon was made in 1957, starring one of the actors, Dana Andrews. It's based in England, and it is basically based around a satanic cult as well. So this satanic cult is actually being investigated by psychologists, and the reason why they're being investigated is because there's been mysterious murders and they're blaming the satanic cult for it. So an American psychologist has been brought in. He is the top psychologist that they know. He has solved so many cases that they did want him. Unfortunately, the person who wanted him over died in mysterious circumstances, and you do see that scene in the movie of how he does die and what happens, but I'm not going to give that away. So he is basically following the leader, Mr. Coswell, and he's supposed to be, the top was it warlock, so it is. But the story is very good, and especially for a black and white movie, and for what they do, I might as well say the demon, the effects they've done on the demon, and the music, everything is absolutely brilliant, so it is. So the second movie I'm going to talk about is The Devil Rides Out. Devil Rides Out was made in 1968, and it stars one of the most famous actors of our time, who recently passed away, Sir Christopher Lee. I think it's a colour movie, and it's basically, again, based in England, and it's another satanic cult movie. So Christopher Lee has been asked to come in and help a friend with the family members, basically to help their son and his, I think it's his either friend or girlfriend, I'm not 100% sure, but they have been taken in by the satanic cult. The satanic cult is trying to actually initiate younger members, because most of their members are actually quite old, so they want younger members to join to continue on their legacy. The son has been picked and brought in, so the Christopher Lee is brought in to help, and you do see him really helping, and they do manage to get the son and the girl back, but it is very hard to try and get them round to normality again. Also the effects, you see in the movie that the satanic cult sending everything they can to try and get the girl back, try and get the son back, and they use everything against Christopher Lee and the family. So it is, but I'm not going to give too much away, but they are tormented until Christopher Lee does overcome. So I would add it to your list because it's a very, very good movie, especially the fact that it has Christopher Lee in it. Any movie with Christopher Lee in it is absolutely brilliant. So the third movie I'm going to talk about is The Changeling. The Changeling is actually the first horror movie I think I watched. It was made in 1980 and starring another famous actor, George C. Scott, and it's basically a sort of ghost story style movie. You do see at the start George C. Scott's character loses his wife and daughter in a car accident, and you do see that scene, and it is quite sad and sort of brutal. But he is a music composer, and he does teach music as well, as far as I see in the movie. He does move to the countryside and rents a mansion off the Historical Society. Eventually in the house, he hears things and pipes banging and things go missing, and eventually it just gets too much for him. He brings in the person who helped him get the house, and they do a seance, and you do find out what is going on, and you find out everything, and then George C. Scott, using that information, goes and investigates even more, and things are thrown at him so as to try and stop the investigation. But that's all I'm going to say on that matter. It is a very good movie. If you haven't seen it, again, add it to your list, watch it. It is very good. So the fourth movie I'm going to talk about is Rosemary's Baby. Rosemary's Baby was made in 1968, starring Mia Farrow, and again another satanic movie. The young couple, Mia Farrow and her husband, I'm not too sure who plays him, moves into an apartment with overly friendly neighbours. Now, as I say, I haven't seen this one in about 4 or 5 months, so I'm trying to remember some of the stuff. One night she has a really bad nightmare about being in with a satanic cult and something happens. She does fall pregnant eventually. Her and her husband are trying to have a baby, and when she's far along enough, she does go for her normal scan, and she does go along because her husband always seems to be really busy. And when she does go in for her scan, the nurse faints, and the doctor actually is absolutely horrified at it. And I can't actually remember what the doctor does, but she continues on anyway, and there is people, I think, trying to help her. So if I say any more, I'll give too much away, but it is quite a cute movie, and Mia Farrow actually lives, so that's another plus side because she is quite a good actress. So the fifth and final movie is one that made people not go back into the water. There is a funny story in my family about this movie. My mum told me that my uncle watched this movie. I don't know if it was in the cinema or on TV, can't actually remember. But he was actually about 10 or 11, possibly 12, and my grandmother had actually ran him a bath, and he refused to get in the bath because he told her there was a shark in the bath, and he refused. He wasn't bathing anymore because there was always going to be a shark in the bath. So that was actually quite hilarious hearing that. But back in those days, you know, kids sort of did believe the horror movies. You know, actually horror movies as the movies. I can't speak. The horror movies before 1990s were absolutely brilliant, absolutely scary. Soundtracks to them, everything was brilliant compared to the shitty horror movies you have today. There is some good ones, but most of them are crap, unfortunately. So without ado, this fifth and final movie is Jaws. Jaws was made in 1975 and stars Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw. It was directed by Steven Spielberg and is also based on the book, I think, with the same name by Peter Benchley. So basically, as you can guess, about a killer shark who just goes around this island, which needs the 4th of July because that's their income, because so many people come on the beach and in the water and everything. And the deputy or the sheriff basically gets really scared because there has been a few deaths, especially with the shark. The sheriff is actually played by Roy Scheider. Richard Dreyfuss comes in from the Oceanic Institute, so it is to help with the shark problem. He does tell them that the shark that they originally caught was not the shark that they're looking for. They're looking for a larger shark, and when they do eventually find it, they do see that it's pretty large shark. Robert Shaw is Quint. He is a very hysterical fisherman and knows his stuff, and is willing to go out and hunt the shark down for killing people. If you haven't actually seen the movie, shame on you. It is one of the most popular movies that I know of. It was actually the most top grossing movie of all time until Star Wars. Star Wars ruined it. As soon as Star Wars came out, that was it. Star Wars took over with the grossing thing. But it is quite a good movie, and one of the facts about the movie is that Steven Spielberg actually didn't stay for the scene of the shark's death. He refused to stay because he was absolutely petrified it was not going to work, so he did. So Richard Dreyfuss, who actually had done all his scenes, was on the plane with Steven Spielberg going back to wherever it was they were going, and he asked how did the shark's death scene go, and Steven Spielberg turned around and said to him, I don't know because they're only filming it now, to which Richard Dreyfuss actually burst into fits of laughter about. But the good thing is the scene of the shark's death only took one take, and that was over the moon for everyone. Like everyone was really surprised it only took one take, because they thought it was going to take quite a lot, but it worked straight away, which is good. So those are my top 5 movies. If you haven't seen any of them, please do watch them, because they actually are quite good. Only if you love horror movies. And as I said, I'm going to try and do these movies, favourite movies, at least once a month, along with my hauls. I was like my Kiawe box and Lush and whatever else I sort of get. So any questions, post them down. If anything I said you may feel is wrong about the movie, or you want to give any more information, feel free to post them down in the comments. Quick business update, I am putting loads of stuff on the shop. It is going to be quiet for a little while. I'm not going to be doing much more, so whatever's on my ETSY shop, that's what's going to be there for next wee while. There is still a sale running on the shop as well. But that's all I'm going to say. So until either a couple of weeks or next month, bye.